This is Ted Kelly with another Ted's Hospitality Minute. Hey, today we've got a great guest on. Her name is Judy Chen. She's the VP of Development for the Dreams Hotel Group, and she's going to come on, talk a little bit about her and her background, and also maybe touch on some of the hot news that's been hitting the press lately, and maybe we'll find out all the great things that's going on over at Dreams. Hey, Judy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Hey, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time. It sounds like you've been busy out there in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of all the places to be for hospitality, Vegas is really the one benchmark where all the newest things are happening and things turn over quickly. So coming not from a Vegas background, it's been very instrumental in helping me kind of learn the trends and learning on design side, programmatic side, what hits and what doesn't. So Vegas is a tough market to beat. That is for sure. It's a fun town. Are you coming to visit?
Yeah, well, I love Vegas. I've been out there a few times. So, and it's a great spot. Lots of lights, lots of activity. Seems like it's never sleep, right? So, had lots of fun out there. It's definitely a trade show town for sure.
Yeah, and even in the past 4 or 5 years that I've lived here, it's definitely changed and been infinitely more sophisticated with the sports teams coming in, a lot of the restaurant concepts. I would say 10 years ago, it was mostly, the name chefs and the big, pool parties. And now we have like the speakeasies, a lot of concepts from New York, LA. As a side note, as on the development side, I was always very bullish on smaller markets. And this kind of contradicts with what I'm saying, but I always felt that everyone likes more sophisticated offerings now. If you're in a smaller town, you see on Instagram what's in New York, LA, and you want that. But now since COVID, Vegas has had a huge influx of Californians and, people who moved from New York back home to St. Louis. Now they don't just, crave it, they expect it, because they lived in a place prior where it was. So Vegas, in that respect, it's still big, and it's definitely not a tertiary market, but the offerings now are getting more intimate, which is really nice to see. And there are a lot more different things to do than just, let's go, get a bottle of alcohol at 11 a.m. That's still there. Right. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm too old for that. So
So let me ask you this before we get into it, and I know we're getting into it already. Tell me a little bit and tell our viewers about you, your background. How did you get into the hospitality world? How did you get into development? What made you, go down that path?
Yeah, so I have an interesting background in the sense that I didn't go to hotel school. Most of my colleagues in a lot of different positions went to Cornell hospitality, and I actually thought I wanted to be an architect when I was younger. And I went to architecture school. I went to Virginia, and after graduating, I worked for a year at Perkins Eastman, a large international firm. I was out in New York. And while I was working there, I was tasked to, being a first year straight out of school, I was tasked with, I think, doing the red lines for the closets and the toilets of this beautiful penthouse that was combining, I guess, the 2-3 units all into one. And so I asked my boss, I said, what does this person do? I don't want to draw it, I want to live it. And she said, he is a developer. So I went to NYU for my master's in real estate development. And at that time, there were very few hotel courses. It was through the Real Estate Institute and not through the business school and not through the tourism and management school, which is obviously much more operational. So I was one of the very few people interested in hotel development. And I was very fortunate to land an internship with Andre Balaz. He's one of the, the greats of lifestyle hospitality. He has the Mercer in New York and Chateau Marmont in LA, Chiltern Firehouse in London. So I was very fortunate to get my foot in the door with, one of the best hoteliers to learn from. And so since then, I've pretty much stayed in the lifestyle space. My focus has been on lifestyle, food and beverage, nightlife, and private members clubs. That's kind of what I've been circling around the past few years. When I worked for the original Thompson, when it was a small family in New York, I crafted a position of both design and development, helping the owners, interface with the architects, but also do the analytic and help run some numbers to find new deals. So yeah, I've kind of been in the lifestyle space, both on the creative and the analytic side for my entire career. So.
And, and you also have a side hobby, right? You
Yeah,
do.
my side hustle, not very successful though, but when I was in New York, I worked for 10 years. And as I'm sure a lot of people listening are aware, when we're starting out in New York, I mean, we're putting in 12, 14-hour days. And, after a while, it was really grueling, and I wanted to be on the West Coast to be closer to my mom at the time. And I was doing off Broadway for fun nights and weekends when I was in New York City. Typical Asian kid, you don't pursue the arts. I had wanted to do this since I was very young, that or architecture. And architecture was already the black sheep of Asian parenting, majors that they would allow. So I wanted to go to acting school as well. And I was kind of trying to balance both. But I love the creative side, the performing side. So because of my resume in New York theater, I was able to get representation in LA when I moved out to pursue acting for a couple of years. But it's hard. I love the craft. It's a very tough industry. Anyone who is trying to make it, it's just the odds are against you. And I was very fortunate to test for a couple of shows, but it's like trying to win the lottery without having a ticket. You have thousands of people vying for one role. So it was very hard. And on my free time then, because I was pursuing this full time, I had taken some time off, but created my own consulting on the hospitality side, just so I wasn't, bartending or being an Uber driver. I thought I knew I had another skill set to fall back on, but had this great opportunity to come work for Dream and Bait, and they said I could work anywhere, and I moved to be closer to my mom in Vegas. So that's kind of how my journey with Dream and the hospitality industry picked back up a few years ago. Otherwise, I could still be a starving actor somewhere. I don't know, but life comes at you fast. Things change all the time. Opportunities come up. So, you have to make the best of what it is, because you never know what's going to happen. So I'm grateful that this is how it all turned out. But I honestly, I miss it. But I don't miss the hustle in that respect on the entertainment side, so it's great. Had my fun, but I think there's more to be done elsewhere that's meant for me.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your role over at Dream, your VP of Development. Tell us all the stuff that you're responsible for and what all the good things you're trying to get done over there.
Yeah. So Dream, just going back to what I do on a day-to-day basis, I will have to say that it was a great fit for me to be part of the company, because when I lived in New York and then LA, Dream was always a place where my friends and I would hang out. So first things first, I was already a client before I was, part of the company. So I knew the DNA and I knew what they were known for. And what I think really sets Dream apart as a brand in itself, it's our ability to program spaces 24/7. There's fun food and beverage, there's great activations, there's things in the lobby. I feel that, I'm not going to say other brands, but I just say there are other hotels that I know where it just seems like people throw a DJ in the lobby and some craft cocktails on the roof and try to call themselves lifestyle. And, I think it's so much more than that. And I think we're very cognizant about what does it take to operate a property from morning till night. If you are staying there, you don't need to leave. If you're local, you want to keep coming back to hang out at the different spaces. Our founder, Mr. Trotwall, started out as a developer himself, and he still is a developer, but on the operations side and the ownerships and development side, we know how much it costs to keep a property, to build it and keep the lights running with the staff. So where is that ancillary revenue coming from? How can I drive people to come, have another meal or drink at our bar? And I think that's really important to creating that 24/7 energy. that, also not just more appealing to the guests, but into the locals, but it creates an energy that resonates throughout all our brands, so that people know if I go there at 3 p.m., I guarantee there's going to be someone working or having a cocktail or a coffee, and it's not going to be me by myself with a laptop if I want to be around that energy. So for Dream Day to Day, I have been involved on the development side, where I help the company acquire new management opportunities, both domestically and abroad. Our flexibility as a small shop means it's much more relationship based instead of territorial based. And it's great. We have that great relationship among our colleagues, where it's all about, where we have the appropriate leads for markets that we think will resonate well with our brand. I'm a big traveler. I spent a month in Australia earlier this June. I'll be in London for about 3 weeks over the holidays. And these are all markets where people don't know us as much internationally in certain markets, but we would be a great fit. So it's helpful to hit the ground running, meeting folks. I took some great development meetings in Sydney, and even though it's the holidays, I have a few more in London while I'm there, just to really showcase what we're about. Because when you travel, you see things that are missing domestically, but you also see things that they're missing that we can bring. So it's vice versa. I think there's definitely best practices for both. I text our COO, even though I'm on the deal side and he's on the programming and operations side. When I see a cool concept, I text him right away, and I'm like, we should have this, and I think that's the beauty of getting to see more of the world and implementing those unique concepts into our projects.
All right, that is awesome. Now, let me ask you something. So how has the economy swings up and down, has that affected the real estate development market and folks talking about doing deals from your perspective at all?
Oh, absolutely. I think in most industries, regardless of which one we're in, obviously being in the hospitality industry, we're at the mercy of the markets. So we can bring so many leads and so many great opportunities to the table. If there are other things that preclude it from happening, it's really frustrating for us. Having said that, we've weathered COVID quite well, mostly because of, our activations and people wanting to be at our properties. So we could do as much as city, county, state regulations will allow, but I think we did really well with what we had. Just for a quick example, Dream Hollywood during COVID started the first NFT art gallery in the lobby. And so it created a lot of buzz in the press, and it had people come into the lobby to walk around, take a look at the art, and then stay around for a drink or a meal. So that kept the momentum going, even if we were at capacity for room nights or, the room count that we had to offer. So I think we're very creative on kind of navigating what opportunities we have, given in any industry, we do have constraints that, we either don't expect or, have no control over. One of the takeaways from COVID was we definitely saw a lot more deals pivot from straight hospitality to more mixed use. And that makes a lot of sense in the fact that a lot of mixed use developments, resi projects, they all want that lifestyle throughout the whole project and not just the hotel side. So it's much more synergistic. And on the branded residential side, our developers have found that there is value add in whether rental or condo to be affiliated with a brand like ours, so that you kind of get the same lifestyle finishes in your apartment or condo, but still have it be like your home. So, I think there's been a change in kind of the hotel being as something that is larger in a larger sense of a project. And also the markets have shifted as well. I think before COVID, I was already very, bullish on secondary and tertiary markets as mentioned, but now I think a lot of people see more opportunities in markets where the price tag and the union issues and the red tape is not as a long process as it would be in some other major cities, which we would love to be in as well. But I think we can create wonderful properties that do well be a cooler kid on a smaller block. And I think there is a need for that everywhere now, regardless.
Yeah.
So, I see a lot of shift towards maybe the secondary and tertiary markets when everyone back in the day was targeting New York, LA, Miami. Now it's, that's not the top three anymore. So that's definitely changed as well.
That's awesome. So I almost feel like I need to do a drum roll as I get ready to ask this next question, because you just did some great stuff out in Vegas, and I'm like, hey, we should bow down, whatever we need to do. But I want you to talk about that, because that is huge, if I understand correctly, based on what I've read.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm really proud. My baby Dream Vegas started as the seller of the site reached out to me back in 2018 asking if Dream would take this project on. And at that time, we were primarily growing our brand and management arm. So it was years of finding the right people to bring on board. And then, there was COVID. So fast forward to July of this year, we had the groundbreak ceremony with the governor and everything. And then in August, we started moving dirt. So Dream Vegas will be almost a $500 million project. We'll open in 2025. We'll have 531 rooms. And it's actually on the southern end of the strip. And a lot of people besides me, they're like, oh, we're not sure about the location. But me personally, I think the south end of the strip, as you migrate towards the traffic to LA, there's a lot of growth. Allegiant Stadium is there, and we are across from the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. So we are near the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. So when I was watching the draft announcement earlier this year, they had a press conference at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. And if you were to look back, when our hotel is open, then that's the first thing you would see. So we'd be one of the first properties you see in any background of, photos taken at that sign. I'm a big believer in ground up for lifestyle. It's personal opinion, not judging what other people are doing on the lifestyle space. But I think especially for a competitive market like Las Vegas, you need to create your own space to cater to your clientele and to be able to appropriately program what you want. Obviously a lot of projects in Vegas are existing hotels, and I think that's more difficult for us as a brand to achieve successfully. So I'm very grateful that this will be able to be, from both a design, circulation, operation standpoint, is truly the Dream DNA. You want to come to the opening party?
Sure. Send us the invite. We'll be there, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Of course. You're on the list.
Wow, that is awesome. So I'm excited just reading about it, and you just added a little bit more to it. So I guess I have to look forward and keep up with all of the press releases and how the progress is taking place out there in Vegas.
Yeah, it's great. We have a great team on board, and to be able to make a mark in the hospitality industry anywhere, especially in lifestyle. I mean, people from New York who've known us for a long time have asked me forever, like, why aren't you at Dream yet? Or why haven't you been to Vegas yet? And I'm like, we'd love to, but Vegas is a large gaming dominated industries market. So, it takes time to build relationships and find the right opportunity. We didn't want to do a project just for a project's sake. So I think this ended up being the best of, all scenarios. And, we're excited to, see what we can do to make a difference in the lifestyle space here in a couple of years.
Wow. Sounds exciting.
It is. It'll be more exciting when you all come hang at the opening party.
We'll definitely be there.
I'm taking names.
So tell me this. So in the last week or so, I heard that you guys and Hyatt have joined forces, and I was like, "Wow, that's happening." We got Dream Vegas happening. What are your thoughts on the Hyatt acquisition and how you guys will work that out? It sounds like it's a great move.
Yeah, we learned about this last week, and from the development perspective, I think it's nothing but positive for us.
Right.
I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but we're limited to what as it relates to the markets as well. We're limited to what we can produce, but how much can it execute? And a lot of times that execution factor is out of our control. But to be able to have a much larger engine and power behind us.
Wow.
Dream is staying as Dream. Hyatt likes our DNA, so we're very proud to, keep going as is, but have that additional, arsenal to really help us grow even faster. And then it's funny because when my friends saw the news last week, a lot of people were texting me and giving, asking me about it. And they said, well, out of all the larger brands out there, a lot of my friends love the Hyatt brand. So it was really comforting to hear that these are the same people we would still have at our properties going forward, with the added benefit on their end of being, part of the loyalty system that we were not, before. And let's be honest, it's hard to be competitive when everyone else is, we're very much the underdog. And I think we've done well with our size, but now we can do so much more.
Yeah, and leverage that power that Hyatt brings to the table for you guys.
And they're a family-owned company, as Dream, has been. And so I think a lot of the values are aligned. We're not a cog in the machine, and we definitely want to stay what we're doing the way it is, so that we can continue to create the dream properties that people like. And it's not a function of, just trying to fit the mold of someone else at this point for the sake of it. I think we will very much be able to, continue to bring great properties to, locations domestically and abroad, as we've had before, just
Right.
within a part of a larger engine.
Wow. Well, Judy, hey, I really appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time. You sound like you're going to spend the holidays over in London, right? Is what it
I
sounds like.
am. I am. So yeah, it's I love to travel. So I and like to hit the ground running too. So I haven't met a new lead I didn't like, and always glad to, explore the city, meet new folks, and hopefully bring more of our dream hotels to these different destinations.
Wow, that is awesome. So I guess I should do two things. One, I should allow you to tell folks if they're interested in the dream hotel development and want to talk to you about how they expand their footprint. They find you. How do they find you?
I would love for people to reach out to me, via email or, on LinkedIn. I love meeting new people. And, I think to share our brand and create more brand awareness is a big part of what I do. So, but please, if you can share the information, I would be glad to. I welcome all queries, and, the industry is small. We should all support each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will definitely share your info on the podcast when we do it. So if folks have an interest and want to talk to you about some projects maybe that they want to talk with you about in Dream, we'll put it out there for you. That's the first thing I wanted to get out of the way. The second thing I wanted to get out of the way is I hope you have a great holiday, safe travel,
Thank you.
and we will stay in touch and see how progress is coming on the Vegas project. And don't forget to put us on the guest list for the opening party. All right.
Oh no, the names have been taken. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was really nice of you to invite me. Yeah, and I hope you have a great holiday, and of course, keep in touch.
And thank you again for your time. This has been another TED Hospitality Minute. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.